Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave, another little solo stream here as I will be doing a guest appearance on a different venue later tonight. So I thought I'd get all the dildo talk out first as I will not be doing that on the later stream. And I want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin's action this morning. Now, yesterday we saw a nice dildo close as pretty much a rejection, and while it's not, it doesn't look like your classic shooting star example on the daily dildo form right here. On the lower time frames, it's very apparent. So going down here to the 1 hour, you can see that really your big tell that this was likely to fall over was this dildo right here. We had a major rejection leading up into the last hour of the daily dildo close. Now with that, I can even go into the lower time frames. This is quite impressive, actually. A little bit of a liquidity pool play as institutional order flow dynamics come into play here. And you can see right coming up to this close, right around here, you get this nice rally up way past our big resistance, way past this 67.50 area, which is the area that we've been kind of watching for the last, you could say for the last couple of weeks, as ever since this area over here was put in, we kind of had to mark it off as a big area of interest, and it has certainly provided that sort of resistance going forwards here. I mean, not just that, but we have three different things kind of conversion on this area for great confluence when that sort of thing happens. So again, we have this horizontal area right here. We have the former support of this bear flag right here, which we did break down from a couple weeks ago, still acting kind of as resistance as we do wick up and test it a few times. And then we also have our 4 hour 200 exponential coming right around here as well. And we did take it out, for about a day, I believe it was. Maybe not quite a day, but a half day or a day, something like that. And right here again, after we do try that little move past the resistance, and I'll put it right back on one more time, you get that major rejection, and it's so damn apparent on these lower time frames, and then the follow through beyond that. So during this morning stream, we kind of witnessed the break of this rising channel support. I'm gonna go back to the 4 hour over here. You can see this area right here. We had a very well defined support trend line crawling our way up here. You could call this a rising channel, I suppose. It's not the most picture perfect example, but the most important part is we had a very well defined resistance trend line right here at about 67.50, and a very well defined support trend line kind of crawling its way up right here. And we witnessed it break on this dildo right here during the morning stream. So after that, we just see the nice little follow through, and it looks like we've kind of tested this lower support right here. So my lines are a little bit off. Well, I guess that does work. If you want to move it up a little bit like that, it doesn't really matter. Again, back over here, support trend lines more like a guideline rather than like a static type thing. And it looks like we have kind of tested that support, getting all the way down to 63. What is it? 20? Yeah, 63.20 on Finex over here. What about MEX? I'm curious. Yeah, MEX did get all the way down here, 63.10. So we've been talking about this area of support for quite some time. It's a very It's a very important area in general because a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen around the Twitter sphere, the YouTube sphere, and the good old TradingView sphere, and hopefully even the BitMEX Trollbox sphere, have been talking about this inverted head and shoulders going on right here. And yes, it actually did look like we had one in place. We have a double head right here. That's completely fine, by the way. You have a left shoulder right here, and you perhaps had a right shoulder somewhere right around here. The volume characteristics did look right, but of course, with any sort of pattern, it ain't good until you actually have confirmation. So this is why I didn't want to long yesterday night when I was on stream. It looked good. We had a lot of signals that maybe that we would likely see a little bit of fall through there. However, again, I don't want to be long when first things first, when we have this many longs on the table over here, well above this 33,000 crazy high range, just this horizontal level right here. Again, you can't make charting type things on the longs and shorts chart. I'm not trying to insinuate that here. I'm just kind of marking off critical areas where historically, once we've gone to that area, it's kind of led to massive decreases in price action. That's essentially, going back to the psychology of this, it's really just saying that we have too many goddamn people on the same fucking bus. And when you have that many people on the same bus, well, as soon as one person starts to capitulate, then others, start to follow through and they feel pressure. So it creates that kind of, positive feedback loop where, someone says, oh, is he selling? Oh, well, shit, then I better sell, because then the price is going to go lower. Oh, is he selling? Well then he needs to sell, all this kind of stuff. So it creates a little bit of that of, well, what we saw this morning, a nice little red dildo party going down. So again, we are living once again below below the yellow line on the daily dildo chart, that 21 exponential right there at 65.40 on Finex. So this is, it doesn't look too good to me right now. To be quite honest, I mean, could we still put in an inverted head and shoulders? It looks less and less likely to me. I want to see how today finishes before I say anything really concrete about that. But we do have a very well-defined neckline, and I really don't even care about calling this one thing or the other at this point in time. We've kind of lost the symmetry that I want to see on an inverted head and shoulders. If we were going to see it play out, you really want to see it kind of take off around this area right here, not accelerate on increasing volume to the downside. That's typically going to negate that pattern. So again, going off of probabilities, because we're, as a technical analyst, we're not trying to tell the fucking future. Regardless of what your Elliott waivers might say. Sorry, just kidding. But Hadrian Reed, it's always going up. It's always going up. But no, my point over here is that when kind of thinking about probabilities and trading, it's a very low probability play that we do that we do play and put in some sort of a formation like that. So again, going back over here, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. Oh shit, I'm on stream and we got people subscribing. Well, beautiful. You know what, Leet Gourmet, I want to welcome you into the goddamn cave and say you're fucking famous now. So welcome, man. Join a live stream soon. Join the movement. Anyways, going back on over here. I do want to show the volume profile, because this was also a good tell, if you will, as we have the point of control just shooting right through this area right here, right along our not only our 4-hour 200 exponential, but also our multiple levels of horizontal resistances, putting them back on right now. So again, just major area being put in right there. We have found some initial support right here, but this 6,300 level is extremely important going on forwards here, as if we do break it, then that whole inverted head and shoulders narrative would be completely crushed. There's absolutely no way to really, kind of, sometimes people like turn their head a little bit and like squint their eyes and they're like, oh, I see it. I think I see it. And to be fair, a lot of these patterns like cup and handle and inverted head and shoulders and all these patterns really have become memes in a way. People always trying to see them in a certain way. And yeah, if we did break this area right here, there wouldn't I don't care how fucking hard you squint your eyes, Mr. Hadrian Ree. Sorry, that's not to be taken as it. That's not intended as it might be taken right there. But my point is, it's just out of the question at that point in time. There's a very specific shape and volume profile and very specific characteristics that are specific to a head and shoulders pattern and every pattern in general that make it that way. And right now, what does an inverse head and shoulders really tell you? That there's a psychology behind that, right? And the psychology is accumulation. You're essentially charting out accumulation, and right now it really doesn't look like that. In fact, it looks like a little bit of distribution going on right here, as we did lose a bunch of longs in the last 24 to 36 hours, as you can see, just kind of putting them up, taking them off over here on the longs chart. But again, going back over here to our Finex chart, it was accumulation of shorts above 67.50. And again, this is why institutional order flow and understanding liquidity pools and stop hunts essentially are so goddamn important, and why I spend a lot of time on it and referencing it in the technical analysis program. So again, a lot of the times, just kind of quickly run through it, we have, if you're a big account, playing with 500 million to $1 billion, maybe even more money, you can't just put your orders in the goddamn order book and expect to get filled. If you want to get filled on some sort of a bigger order, bigger than probably 10 million to, 10 million is really not that much. 50 million to 100 million is where it starts to probably get more difficult. you can't just put it in the order book. Other people will see your order, and they're gonna jump in front of you. So then everyone's front running you. It just becomes a goddamn you're probably tearing your hair out trying to get filled. And then also people might try to just really frustrate you by counter trading you in a certain way that would kind of pull price action against you as well. So again, it's a different dynamic. So how do you get filled if you're a big institution? Well, you have to trick all of these over-aggressive breakout traders into thinking that this is an inverted head and shoulders, and that we're breaking above the neckline right here last night, right before the daily dildo close. And as you can see, and this is why confirmation is so goddamn important. I mean, that's a whole damn point of the technical analysis program. In a way, I mean, yes, there's plenty of others, but one of the main points to hit hard home is that right there. And this is how you can avoid being trapped like all of the people on Twitter getting overly excited about a move that is essentially a classic stop hunt and then move the price action away from them as very very fast. So again, we are kind of basing, it looks like, around this 6,300 level right here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think taking into consideration the whole picture right here, it just doesn't look so pretty anymore. We do have resistance somewhere right around this area right here, this horizontal coming in right around 64.20-ish. If we do get back there, I'm not sure I'd be interested in shorting right there. I'm not sure if this is a very strong resistance going forwards here. I'd be much more interested somewhere above 6,500. But again, as long as we're below 6,750 to 6,800, I do look at this as pretty goddamn bearish. And there's a bigger relevance of why this is so important. And that is over here. Now, again, we talked about this bear flag being put in right here. Now, this is not only a bear flag, but it's actually it's actually a part of a greater inverted cup and handle. As I just talked shit about that pattern. But essentially, we do have this shape going on right here. And yes, this actually does work. The volume profile is right. The shape is right. If it looks like one, it smells like one, it tastes like one, it's probably one. And so far, we're still, and more importantly, why I believe that this is valid so far is that we're still respecting this area right here as resistance, this former support of this handle, aka bear flag, as resistance. So former support becomes resistance typically, and we see it tested, like almost 1, 2, 3. You can maybe even count that as a fourth time, and then rejection to the downside. So with that in mind, this cup and handle or inverted cup and handle is still intact, and as long as it's still intact, we, depending upon your disposition, we fortunately or unfortunately still have a measured move taking us, well, all the way down to this lovely blue box, which look at that, I already have it charted out, but just to kind of quickly explain it, it's a nice horizontal level as well. It's also our 886 Fibonacci retracement, which, if you've listened to my other, if you tuned into some of my other streams, that is where we did kind of base off of. In 2014, this 886 Fibonacci retracement is where we actually hit our ultimate low. So again, taking a similar Fibonacci retracement from our 2014 market cycle to our 2018 market cycle, which is essentially what I did over here with our 2013 to 2014. You can imagine that would, it kind of does make sense in a way. So again, going back over here to Finex, and putting on some of our indicators, there are a couple other signs that we were going to break down here, and I just want to quickly talk about them as well. You probably want to know this for the future, or maybe you don't. I don't know, but here you go. Anyways, you have your stochastics over here. They actually turned down right around here. Right around here, they crossed over. That's your first signal, and then they turned down below the critical zone right here on this dildo right here. So that to me told me it's a good idea to go short. If not for anything else, a nice little scalp position. Now taking into context the whole damn thing, we knew that there's a shit ton of resistance right there, and it's generally a big pivot on the market. So I kind of did start a little bit more of a scalp position there, you could say, on my main account. We are starting to trend back below the exponential on the RSI over here. We're back into the bearish zone. I do believe I have my normal settings on over here. Yes, I do. Okay, I have a 14 period. And again, we kind of poked our head above the neutral zone. Didn't really try to do much, but actually, this is quite telling that if we do go back into the bearish zone below 45 on RSI, it's just another sign, kind of a green saying, hey, this bear market is far from over. And again, just my general disposition on this market is that not only is this bear market just not only over, but it's not really over in my opinion until we actually break this former support trend line here. And just to quickly run through it, as I do as I probably do too much, but just over here, we have this major triangle of consolidation after essentially what was a 3-year bull run starting all the way back here. We had a 3-year bull run, going all the way through here. That's your market phase right there. Beautiful. Everyone's happy during that time. Everyone's going to the moon. Everyone's Hagen reing it up, and then we have our reversal phase right here, confirmed with this break right here. Okay, good. And then we consolidate between 6,000 and 12,000 in a very orderly fashion. We see volume dropping off in a very orderly fashion as well as price action, tightens up and consolidates. That's essentially what it's talking about. And again, it seems just go off on another tangent right now, but it seems like volume has been another one of those fucking buzzword memes that's been beaten to death by people like Carter Thomas and Crypto Hedge and I don't even, is he even a person anymore? I don't know. And Hadrian Ree and who else? I don't know. There's too many. There's too fucking many. But anyways, volume doesn't tell you anything really. I mean, it tells you a lot on its own, but it needs to be taken into consideration with like the price action as well. And when you can relate those two, you can actually understand what's likely happening. And people just saying, well, it's on low volume or it's on high volume. It just shows a lack of understanding of what this is. So this volume falling off right here as price action kind of tightens up over a range, which is quite a large range between 6,000 and 12,000, but still a range, is very telling of consolidation. So and then you can kind of verify this yourself. Once we break this range right here, this bottom support, you see that volume just perk right on back up, and that's kind of telling me, oh, okay, well, it's likely that we do kind of play out this bearish market now. In fact, I would even hazard to say, and I'm sure people are going to roll their eyes at this, but this is where the bear market actually really did start. Breaking this support right here. In fact, when we were consolidating this area right here, we had equal chance. Well, you never really. Technically, you had equal chance to break upwards to downside. I know if you've been kind of tuning to these streams for quite some time, they've been bearish. Well, ever since I started streaming, but before that, I was bearish ever since this area right here, about 16,500. So I didn't catch quite the top of the top, but you know what? That's just my style of trading. So I am happy with that so far. Anyways, going back on over here, this is very important because I just want to kind of point this out. Anytime that we're living below this area of consolidation right here, that to me is saying, hey, we're not out of this bearish market yet, so don't get too damn excited. And again, going back over here, and I'm gonna do something bad, but I'm gonna say the volume on this turnaround bullish engulfing dildo right here, very very anemic, very very low indeed. And again, especially related to the surrounding price action over here. So again, is that a market shifting dildo formation? Unlikely. There's just not enough participation in it. Could it still be? Could it still reverse the whole thing around? I mean, everything's always possible, right? But again, as an analyst, we're not trying to crystal ball it. We're trying to come up with probabilities, and I'd say it's very unlikely at this point in time. In fact, this whole way over here, even on our 8-hour was printing some pretty severe bearish divergence on your oscillators over here, like your RSI. Some good divergence between right here and right here, which is funnily enough getting right to your bullish zone and then rejecting from there, and then creating some divergence as we crawl up a little bit higher. So that was your first tell. Then also your stochastics agreed with that as well, some divergence there as well. But again, stochastics more of like a shorter term scalping type thing. I don't want to get that too confused, as I don't really talk about that too much on stream as well. It's covered in a technical analysis program, in that specific module probably takes a couple hours. So again, and then taking into context with the whole goddamn program, there's a lot of information there, over 22 hours. So again, not to show myself too hard, but I do want to kind of speak on that for the people who are in the program and who are continually hitting up these streams for more education, I suppose. Anyways, going on back here, again, I do look at this, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to really be saying that we have an inverted head and shoulders here now, and this is the real one. And I guess I don't want to say. I mean, it just feels very unlikely. Again, as long as we're living below this area right here, I don't care. I don't care what you call this. Here's the very important part of this stream. Here's the very, very important part of the stream. It doesn't matter what you call this. It doesn't matter what you call this at all. As long as we're living below here, this resistance trend line right here that we got stonewalled at one more time at 67.50, we'll call it. Again, it's a little bit higher than that if I wanted to be exact, but we'll just call it 67.50 for ease of conversation. This is very, very bearish, to the point that we might see that bigger inverted cup and handle play out. However, if we were to take out this area right here, well, you do have a nice little run. I really don't see much stopping it from this area right here. Again, this blue box area, which is essentially would be a retest of our former support right here that was broken over here. Again, a very, very big area in the market. That's the one area of the market that could make me say, hey, if we start closing dailies above there, well, I would go neutral in the market, maybe even bullish at that point in time. It'd really make me reconsider a lot of things. So again, a very, very pivotal area in the market, and we're nowhere near it at this point in time. 67.50 has provided some staunch resistance once again. And of course, we do have the G20 meeting coming up, I believe tomorrow. It's not just a day meeting. I believe it goes over a period of time, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And definitely verify this information yourself. But we did see, some major down price action the last time the G20 was essentially meeting, and people were speculating that they were going to talk about cryptocurrency right around here. Or was it right around here? I think it was right around here, actually. Again, it was somewhere in this range. It was one of these two pumps right here. Essentially, we were dumping all the way into it, and then the G20 came out and they said, hey, we're not going to be talking about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about it in July, on July 11th. So again, kind of a non-news event. It's like here's your news. There's no news, and then so markets kind of rally back up again. So we see kind of the same action now as we do head into that event as we're dumping in price action. So again, events are complete wildcards. I have absolutely no idea what they're going to say. Perhaps this is a little bit of a maybe people are expecting the worst right now, and that's why they're dumping right now. Maybe not. Maybe someone knows something that I don't know, because this is an unregulated market, and well, that's completely allowed. So again, this is one of those areas where I really don't like to play myself, as news related events are just it's going to happen extremely fast. Whatever it is, any sort of announcement that's made, people are going to be responding to this sort of thing as fast as bots do, because well, bots will be trading the market at that point in time. So again, I really don't want to be having positions at the current moment in time. I got the nice little drop right here. I caught that dildo, so I'm happy about that. But unless we break this area right here, 6,300, I really don't want to be starting another short unless we get back to 65.50ish area. Again, this I'm just kind of pulling this number out of my asshole right now, as all I'm going off of is just this nice horizontal area right here. Which should line up nicely with our volume profile. Somewhere on our volume profile should kind of hint at this as well. And you can kind of see right around here, yeah, we do start to kind of hit into some more higher volume nodes, perhaps even a little bit higher. 65.50ish right here. Beautiful. So again, taking this back off. We do have, this is your doomsday support right here at about 60.40. This, I believe, well, I mean, perhaps maybe just my doomsday support. Maybe you don't believe this, but for myself, as long as we're living above 60.40, it's still technically could kind of pick itself back up and rally back upwards and onwards. It could happen, but the second that we break this area, I believe that we will be living below 6,000 and won't see 6,000 for quite some time. So again, 60.40 is very, very important for that reason. Now again, I could be almost equally as aggressive with this area right here at about 6,300. I know that this is getting into a more nuanced type discussion. So, but I do think that the kind of people tuning into this content can understand this sort of thing. A lot of really great people out there. So again, if we did break 6,300, this just looks really, really bad. There goes your inverted head and shoulders narrative. There goes, your nice orderly pattern. And at that point in time, I'd be pretty comfortable, having a nice short at that time. But of course, it's not confirmed until it's confirmed. So again, the two big areas in my opinion is right here 6,300 and right here 6,750. I really do feel like 67, like we probably will play this out to the downside. Can it be wrong in this, absolutely. So again, that is why I do technical analysis and just wait for confirmation, whichever way that it might be. All right, I think that's gonna do it for today's stream. I look forward to seeing you in a stream soon, and take care, everyone.